I want to talk about things that I really hate. I've made a list here of 5 top things that I hate in Star Citizen. And I'm going to explain also why I hate these things. And of course, to balance things out, because I don't want to be a hater, right? There are so many things that I like in Star Citizen. So to counterbalance that, I've also made a list of 5 things that I love in Star Citizen. And so my number 1 thing that I hate in Star Citizen is the quantum drive. As you could see before, sometimes it's completely bugged, sometimes it's not working, you have to press it multiple times, and then you think that you're going to spool, everything is calibrated, and then it doesn't work again. It is incredibly frustrating. And this is really something that I hope Cloud Imperial games are going to be working eventually one day. It's one of the oldest features of Star Citizen. It went through several iterations, but I do believe that it needs to go through another iteration, because at this point, yeah, it's just more of a nuisance than anything else. Next, the next thing that I really hate in Star Citizen, and these are elevators. I don't understand why everything has to go through an elevator in Star Citizen. Because when you think of real life, right? Yeah, sure, there are elevators, but you also have alternative to elevators. You have stairs. And I don't understand why we don't have stairs in some of the buildings that, for example, the habitation buildings, right? Now, sure, I know that sometimes we are really high into the building and it would take a lot of time by stairs, but when the elevators are not working, which sometimes happening, right? Sometimes the server is bugging, or sometimes the elevators themselves are bugged, right? Well, you'd be very happy to have some stairs to go where you need to go and to be unstuck. But as of right now, it's just not something that we have in the game, and that's really frustrating. Plus, sometimes, the elevators can kill you also, or they they can take you to places where you don't want to go. It's just really it's a nuisance, right? Next, after that, I would like to have some of the features that were actually good, but that also disappeared. I hate that that's also something that I hate in Star Citizen. One of the things that I hate in Star Citizen also are good features that disappeared. We used to have some really great features. I'm thinking, for example, the radar, right? The landing radar. It used to be there. It's gone. The bots, Cry Astro was awesome. It's gone. I also personally liked a couple of missions. I like the scramble races. Some people didn't like them. I like them quite a bit. They're gone as well. So I wish to understand what happened to those features that were popular, that people liked, but for some reason were gone, and when are they going to be coming back as well? And there's not a lot of communication about that, unfortunately, right? Next, the next thing that I really don't like in Star Citizen is, in this case, the light fighter meta. I think that it really sucks that in Star Citizen, when you have an arrow, a gladius, then you're basically the king of the hill. And normally, when you play these games, it should be a game of rock, scissors, paper. You take an item, and there's another one that should be there for countering that item. But as of right now, light fighters don't really have a proper counter. You would be thinking that perhaps the best counter to a light fighter would be a medium fighter, and the best counter to a medium fighter would be a heavy fighter. And then the best counter to a heavy fighter would be a light fighter, because it can outmaneuver the heavy fighter, right? So rock, scissors, paper, that kind of mechanisms, right? But as of right now, it's just not the case. And if you have a gladius or an arrow, that's basically the way to go for PvP. And I don't think that it's very interesting, right? All right, the last thing that I really hate in Star Citizen, these are not the explosions. I think the explosions are fun, actually. It's buggy. I know it's an alpha. That's fine with that. I'm fine with that. No, the next thing that I hate in Star Citizen is the wait. You have to wait for everything. And I'm not even talking about the wait for new features, which of course is something that I don't like as well. It's just, you have to wait to go from one place to another. You have to wait for your ship to come back. See, I just claimed my Pisces because I died of a random explosion that should not have happened. Well, you know what? I'm gonna have to claim my Pisces. I'm waiting for 4 minutes for something that's not even my fault. I hate that. And that's something that I hope Cloud Imperial game is one day going to mitigate a little bit to make it more fair for people who should not be having to wait, right? Having to wait from one place to another. Quantum travel can be really fast and tedious. You're waiting for your friends because they are on the other side of the standing system. You have an operation. You're waiting for all of your friends. You're in Crusader, they are in Macrotech. You have to wait for 10 minutes for them to arrive, right? And then it's just something that's very time consuming, and I just hope that there will ways to enjoy the game in a much quicker fashion. Now, that being said, there are also things that I really like about Star Citizen, one of them being the sound. You guys heard the explosion of my Pisces earlier, right? The sound was absolutely fantastic. I'm gonna hear it again in the video, right? Boom, all right, great. All of the explosions in Star Citizen sound wonderful. The game engine sound wonderful. The atmospheric effects sound wonderful. And it's something that we don't often talk about, right? The work done by the sound engineers of the game, which is truly phenomenal and one of the best of the game industry, in my opinion. Next, I also love that there are tons of vehicles and ships in the game right now, about 2,000. It brings a ton of diversity. You got really for all kinds of tastes. You got small shuttles, light fighters, heavy fighters, freighters, capital ship, luxury vessels, anything you can think of, you name it, and that is absolutely great. The next thing that I love in Star Citizen is what we are seeing right here, the planetary tech. Isn't that amazing that you can seamlessly travel from space all the way down to planet, no loading screen, and all of these planets, sure, they're not 1-to-1 scale, they're 1-to-6 scale for these planets and 1-to-10 for the moons, if I'm correct, or maybe it's the other way around, but still, nevertheless, I think that they are the best planets of the video games industry right now, the most realistic looking, with the best fidelity, especially if you compare them to other planets like No Man's Sky, which look a little bit too cartoonish for my taste, or Elite Dangerous, which look way too outdated now. Unfortunately, that's the case, right? These planets on Star Citizen are definitely the best that there is right now in the market. And the next thing that I love is something that I just mentioned earlier, right? The seamless experience. You can transition from a station to your ship, travel down there to the planet, and then transition from the ship, which has interior. All the ships have interiors that you can explore, all the way to the planet you can entirely explore as well. It's fantastic. And finally, the last thing that I love in Star Citizen is that group play is meaningful. When you are with your friends doing group play in Star Citizen, you are making a difference. You are doing things that you would not be able to do otherwise if you were not playing in group. And like, for example, when you're doing group play in Elite Dangerous, it's useless. It's very boring. You got nothing to do. Yeah, you can take maybe some missions that you wouldn't be taking otherwise, but it's pretty much very repetitive and the same, and there's just no point. You can do pretty much the same thing by doing solo. And Star Citizen, playing with a group is a completely different experience than when playing solo, and that also I love. So there we go, guys. These are 5 things that I hate in Star Citizen, 5 things that I love in Star Citizen. But let me know in the comment section down below. What do you like and hate about Star Citizen? I would also like to know what you guys are thinking about. This month we've got a giveaway, guys. If you're a YouTube member or a Patreon member, or if you share our videos on Discord, well, we're giving away a Storm, we're giving away a Lynx, and we're giving away a Fury as well. So yeah, I'll see you guys on the Discord for that. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I've been Erad. Shout out to Dr. Forbin, Zero Crusher, and Deplorable Infidel. I'll see you guys later.